Are you suffering from seasonal depression? Did the holidays kind of kick your butt? Today I'm here to talk about it. If you don't know me, my name is Brandon. Welcome to One Day at a Time. Joining me from the roof today, we got the beautiful sunset in the background. I figured it's the perfect setting for this video. So I want to talk about, seasonal depression and something that I've struggled with, and I know others have as well, especially with the holidays. It just beats you down. The cold this year has been kicking my butt because it's been so cold for so long. There's not been any really warm days in between. So I know that I'm suffering a little bit from it. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. And it's hard with the holidays, with everything being so busy, and you're obligated to do this and that, and then you're spending lots of money that you might not necessarily be ready for. So the holidays can be a hard time, and it's important that we work through that and don't just keep it all inside, because if we harbor all that inside and we don't talk to people, it's very easy for it to overwhelm us and consume us. I've mentioned it before that the enemy works in isolation. He wants to tear you down. He wants to separate you from everybody else around you that could help you. And when he does that, it does weaken us because it makes us vulnerable, where the lies that our brains tell us, it's easier to believe them when you're not surrounded by other people to try to make you feel better than that. So it's important, through this season, to talk to people and, be mindful of where your mind is at. Because if you sit there and dwell in the darkness, it will consume you. And having people that you can talk to, it's a great avenue for relief, especially for me. I found sometimes talking to people that you don't really know, it takes away a lot of the pressure because you'll probably never see them again. So it opens the door for you to be more genuine and more forthcoming with how you're feeling. So I encourage you guys, reach out to people if you need help. You can reach out to me. I'm always here to talk to people. So don't ever feel like you're alone. They compare the enemy to a lion waiting to pounce on an unsuspecting victim, whether it's like a baby lamb separated from the rest of the flock or something like that. And, that's a lot of what it is for us, that, we can make ourselves targets for the enemy and for the darkness to attack us. And you really got to make sure that you're mindful of that. I know it's easy, when you start feeling down, overwhelmed, and depressed, to kind of just shut down, but you know, it's important to try to put a stop to that and reach out to people. Even if it's just one person, it could change so much. And, with the holidays and everything, just remember that, it didn't used to be the way that it is now. So, if you can only do a little bit, do a little bit. Do what you can. There's no pressure. There shouldn't be any pressure to buy the most expensive presents or do this or do that or be with these people because it's the holiday. Go where your body calls you to. Follow your heart. If you're called to be with friends this year instead of, family, then that's where you go. Be with your friends. Spend time with the people that really matter to you. There's really no obligation to make it a certain way. And unfortunately, as a society, we put a lot of pressure on that to make it, set the expectations of it has to be this, it has to be super fancy. And I really want to go back because it does put a lot of pressure on people, and it does really make it hard for us. So the biggest thing is when you are going through this thing, even if you don't reach out to people, just know that you're not the only one going through this. There's a lot of people that struggle with this time of year, that struggle with the holidays for one reason or another, whether it's, financially, whether you're missing loved ones. Sometimes the holidays just suck, and then, you get surrounded by people who want to talk to you, and, it can be very overwhelming. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to say no to people, and just make sure you're putting yourself first, your mental health first, and be mindful of all that. Now, I know for me, isolation has been a huge topic in my mind because it's something that I know that was my first response. And I've been working very hard since I found faith to make it my last response, because the the more I isolate myself, the easier it is for the enemy to attack me and just make me keep feeling worse. And even in the Bible, it talks about that we're meant to be with people. Like, we're meant to be surrounded. We're better in pairs. We're better with other people because it's really true. Like, us as humans, we're made to have companionship and conversation. So you really got to try not to like isolate yourself and keep yourself separated from anybody. And I know it can be hard sometimes. And at the end of the day, if you're not okay to be with people, be with God. Pray for things. Pray for the things that you're struggling with. Present Him your problems and be humble. Don't hide stuff from Him and don't try to make it what it isn't. Just be honest with Him. And the more you humble yourself in front of God, the more opportunities He's going to have to help you. Being a follower of Christ doesn't mean we're not going to have hard times. It just means that He's going to be there with us through those hard times. And you're never really truly alone. Like, He is always there. Even as I'm sitting here recording it, He's here. He's here with me. I can feel Him. I can hear Him today. I'm pushing myself to build my faith a little bit more. And it's really been an eye-opening experience. I know today I was struggling with something really hard. I started praying about it, and I made a decision that wasn't necessarily the one that I wanted to make, but I had to look out for what was in my best interest. And in making that decision, like, I was really stressed out about it because I was trying to do things to a certain standard of what I was doing, and I just knew that I couldn't keep going that way. And when I made the decision to stop pushing myself so hard, I felt at peace. I felt like He was like, that's the right move. This is the way. This is the way that you should walk. And you should listen for Him for that and pray for things. Present all your problems to Him because He wants to be a problem solver. He wants to help you. He wants to bring you peace and joy. And the more we focus on the things that aren't God, the more our joy and peace runs away. And it's the enemy taking it away from us. And really, all you got to do is just try to focus on Him as much as you can, and He'll give you His peace and He'll give you His joy. We just got to really press into it, but you also have to be willing to accept it. Again, you have to be humble when you come to Him. Like, give Him all your problems. Don't give Him part of your problems. Be honest. Like, be completely open and honest. And you'll be amazed at how you feel afterwards. You'll be amazed at the things that He can do for you, through you. Well, He's the Almighty God. There's not really any limit to what He can or can't do. But for us, like, we have to trust Him. And if you don't trust Him, you're going to stop yourself from finding peace and joy. And that is something that I still struggle with. I'm still working on the full surrender of things. And it's hard because to blindly trust someone that you can't see, but you can feel and you can see things from Him or things that He's doing and hear things from Him, but you don't always know what direction He's going, it is hard to trust. But for me, like, the more that I push into it, the more that I do start trusting Him, the more that I, take the first step, that leap of faith, as the saying goes, like, the more you step out in faith, the more things are presented for you. And it's really cool to see that as I push through this. So I really do encourage you guys, like, if you are struggling, find help, whether it's other people or whether it's God. But don't keep it to yourself. Don't let it consume you. And just, focus on the light. Don't focus on the darkness. Changing your perspective and what you're focusing on has been really huge for me. Because, not everything's going to work out, and sometimes it's God telling you that that's not the right way. And instead of dwelling on things not working out the way you planned or things being harder than you expected, look at it from a perspective of, what can I learn from this? What is God trying to show me through this? What is the lesson in this? What can I do differently? And for me, like, trying to look at it from that perspective instead of, wow, this really sucks, like, I really wanted to do that, it didn't work out, has really shifted, like, my thought process and brought me a lot more positivity than in the past when I focused solely on the negative aspects of it didn't work and whatever. So I encourage you to give him your problems, but give them to him. Don't hold on to him. Don't give him part of your problem. You have to give it to him fully. Let it go. If you give it to him, don't take it back because he can't fix it if you take it back. And don't feel pressured to be a certain way or live at a high standard or whatever. We're gonna make mistakes. We are human at the end of the day, and God does know that. And He's given us our grace that we honestly still don't deserve. But He's given it to us anyway. So we're gonna make mistakes. He knows we're gonna make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. Sometimes mistakes cost a lot of money, but I always say some lessons are more expensive than others. But you got to learn from the mistakes, but don't be afraid to make mistakes. At the end of the day, God doesn't use perfect people to fulfill His purpose. He wants to find the person who's broken, the person who's the most messed up, and that's the people that He's going to use. So don't feel like you're beyond God using you. He loves you. He wants to use you. You just have to be open to it. But thanks for joining me on this one. A little different with the sunset in the background. I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm standing up. I'm moving around a little bit more. So I hope you like it. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Feel free to send me a message one way or the other. But I hope you join me next week. Until then, take everything one day at a time.